Hey all, on today's Aquaristic Online product spotlight, I'm going to give you a dosing pump buyer's guide. Alright, thank you for joining me on my first ever product spotlight brought to you by Aquaristic Online. On today's episode, we're going to go over 10 things you should consider when picking the perfect dosing pump for your aquarium. Let's jump into it with number one. Alright, first things first, when you're looking for the perfect dosing pump for your aquarium is to consider its use case. What do you want it to dose? How many heads are you going to need now and potentially into the future? Because as you can tell by the huge range of aquarium dosing pumps in front of me, we range from single head dosing pumps to doubles to triples to quads to fives, and they all have different use cases. There's no use paying for 5 heads if you're going to need 3, and there's no use buying 1 if you're going to need 3 as well, because obviously you're going to have to buy 3 times the dosing pumps. So consider what you need to dose before looking at which dosing pump you should pick up, and also bear in mind that your needs may expand a little bit in the future. Alright, the second point to consider is the size of the unit and where and how you're going to mount it. It sounds a little bit trivial, but it makes the difference between a super slick install and something that looks a little bit of an afterthought. So have a look at the units that have the correct sort of mounting style that's going to suit the location you want to put the dosing pump into your aquarium. Some of the units will require mounting on a shelf. Others are able to hang, and some of them even come with some very clever little mounting clips that make their installation an absolute breeze. Definitely something to consider when you're picking the dosing pump to suit your needs. Alright, point number 3, and one that is a little bit technical but very often overlooked when people are picking their dosing pump, is the type of motor and head that the dosing pump uses. There are basically 2 different types of motors, which goes from your conventional DC motor to a stepper pump motor. The difference being your stepper pump is technically more capable of delivering much more fine dosing amounts. So if you're looking for a dosing pump that can do fractions of a milliliter, perhaps the stepper motor option is for you. Secondly, the pump head style varies from a shaft and rollers to a gear-driven pump head assembly. Now, the real difference there is how far they are capable of pumping. If you've got your dosing containers right next to the tank, you're going to be happy with either option. If you're trying to move fluid a long way or push fluid a long way, you're going to need the gear-driven head. There is also one extra type there to consider when looking at which dosing pump is going to suit your application, and that is whether you need a continuous dosing amount. If you're looking to run a calcium reactor or a water change unit, you need a pump that is capable of running all day, every day, and not all options are available to do that. So consider that when looking into which pump suits your needs. Alright, point 4 to consider when looking at a dosing pump for your aquarium is the app or ecosystem that they run on. If you've got a lot of equipment, say with the Red Sea application in Reef, and you're familiar with it and comfortable with it, the Reef dose is an obvious choice. Likewise with the Kamoa pumps, and then we've got some more advanced situations where you might have a GHL Profilux system that you want to make some advanced dosages based on some other tests. Obviously the GHL dose is going to be a good option for you there. Likewise the Neptune dose, and of course the new player in the game is Reef Factory with their range of dosing pumps that work seamlessly with their ecosystem as well. If, like me, you have a huge range of aquarium gadgets on your fish tank, you might want to try and consolidate some of the brands so that you don't have 50 different apps to open when you need to make some changes to your dosing or do something different on your fish tank. Having those devices play nicely with each other not only makes for your home screen to be a little bit less cluttered, but it also does allow you to do some little bit of interconnectivity between devices there, which is where I think dosing pumps really play a part in the future of reef keeping. Alright, point number 5, we are halfway in. The considerations for picking the perfect dosing pump for your fish tank is the additional features. Now these are often an afterthought or a little bit of a bonus when people buy a dosing pump and then realize that it has either a temperature probe so they can compare against their other temperature probes, or things like stir bars, level sensors of dosing containers. But once you actually have those and you utilize those features, they can absolutely make or break the dosing pump choice for you. So consider what additional features you require and factor that into your decision. All right, point number 6, and it is a super important one, is the availability of spare parts and how difficult the servicing is of these dosing pumps. Like all mechanical devices, they are not capable of being set up and left alone forever. They will need servicing done on them at some point in time, so ensuring that you can pick up those spare parts and also that the servicing is as easy as possible is a very important factor to consider. Point number 7 follows very closely with point number 6, and that is the amount of support that you can get with these devices. As our electronics on our fish tanks become more and more complex and powerful, the amount of support required to make sure you are getting the most out of them is more important than ever. So have a good look around on the forums, talk to your local fish shop, and see which one you're going to be able to get the most out of with the support and after-sale support. All right, point number 8 when you're considering your perfect dosing pump is a little bit of a trivial one for some people, but the most important for others, and that is the looks of the unit. You need something that's going to fit in seamlessly with your fish tank, and if you're a bit like me, a bit of a gear junkie, you want something that absolutely looks the part, not something that's just sort of sitting on top of other devices. So have a look at the different options available in these dosing pumps and see which one's going to fit in beautifully with your fish tank. All right, on to our second last one. Point number 9 when considering the perfect dosing pump for your aquarium is the included accessories. Some of these pumps come with absolutely nothing. Others come with dosing line holders, tubes of various colors, and bits and pieces. A good portion of them do come with some little test files so you can calibrate the pumps. But if you have to buy all of these things separately, factor that into the price, which does lead into our final consideration point, and probably, if you're just like me, the most important. Point number 10 is the price. The price variation between our various dosing pumps, particularly if you need to buy more than one, is fairly huge. So factor that in, obviously. Have a good look through the Aquaristic Online web store where you can see the prices of each of these units. These guys give you the best price. You can see all of the options there. Pick which one's going to suit your needs and your budget the best. All right, guys, there you have it. That is the 10 points to consider when picking the perfect dosing pump for your fish tank. If you would like to find out more information on any or all of these products, be sure to check them all out on the Aquaristic Online web store where you can see all of the options here and even more. So jump on their website. Other than that, guys, till next time, thank you so much, Aquaristic Online, for making these videos possible. Till next time, stay safe, keep reefing.